Oymyakon. Life at the coldest edge of the world. In most places, winter is something you wait out. In Oymyakon, winter is something you live inside. This remote village in eastern Siberia, tucked deep within Russia's Sakha Republic, Yakutia, is widely known as the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth. The title sounds dramatic, almost exaggerated, until you step outside and feel the air sting your skin like a warning. In Oymyakon, cold is not just weather. It is a force that shapes land, routine, and identity. A landscape that traps the cold. Oymyakon lies far from any ocean, surrounded by mountains and valleys that form a natural bowl of rock. Cold air is heavier than warm air, and once it slides down into the valley, it becomes trapped. Night after night, the cold settles and stays. There are no warm sea winds to soften the temperature. No nearby cities to bring infrastructure or ease. What remain are silence, ice, and an environment that demands respect. Cold by the numbers. The temperatures in Oymyakon are so extreme they can feel unreal, like a misprint in a science textbook. But these numbers are very real, and they define daily life. Condition and temperature. Typical winter day, -50 degrees Celsius. School closing limit, -55 degrees Celsius. Official record, 1933 -67.7 degrees Celsius. Unofficial record, -71.2 degrees Celsius. To put this into perspective, many schools around the world close when temperatures drop below -10 degrees Celsius. In Oymyakon, children may still attend class at temperatures cold enough to freeze exposed skin within minutes. And yet, there is a twist few people expect. Summer. During the warmest months, temperatures can climb as high as 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit. This enormous temperature range, nearly a 100 degrees Celsius swing between winter lows and summer highs, is one of the greatest on Earth. Oymyakon is not only extreme in its cold, but in its contrast. A name with a quiet irony. The name Oymyakon comes from a local word often translated as unfrozen water, referring to a nearby spring that remains liquid even in deep winter. There is a quiet irony in this. A place famous for freezing breath, engines, and eyelashes is named for its refusal to let water turn to ice. But the meaning explains why people settled here in the first place. In a frozen land, unfrozen water is not a luxury, it is survival. Geography did not welcome people gently. It tested them first. How to live when the air freezes. Daily life in Oymyakon requires careful planning and constant adaptation. Running water pipes are impossible, they would freeze solid. Instead, residents collect ice or snow and melt it indoors. Drinking water is carried like firewood, block by block. Cars are treated with similar care. Engines can fail if allowed to cool completely, so vehicles are insulated and protected. In fact, some drivers never turn their engines off from October to April, letting cars run for months at a time just to keep the oil from freezing into a solid. A parked car is not just transportation. It is something you must actively keep alive. The cold also affects the smallest details of daily life. Electronics struggle to survive. Smartphone batteries can die in seconds outdoors. Plastic casings may crack, and even ink in pens can freeze. Metal glasses can freeze to skin, forcing many people to avoid wearing them outside. Milk is often sold as solid frozen slabs rather than liquid cartons. People buy a block and melt only what they need for tea or cooking. When temperatures fall below -50 degrees Celsius, a thick ice fog appears. Made of tiny ice crystals rather than water vapor, it hangs in the air because it is too cold to dissipate. Streets blur, buildings fade, and the village can look like a ghost town. There is even a sound locals sometimes describe as the whisper of the stars. In extreme cold, breath freezes instantly into fine ice crystals. As they fall, they make a faint tinkling sound like tiny pieces of glass brushing the air. In Oymyakon, the cold is not silent. It speaks. Food frozen by nature. In winter, the outdoors becomes a natural freezer. Fish can be stored standing upright in open air, frozen solid by the temperature alone. Traditional dishes often include thin slices of frozen raw fish or meat, eaten without cooking. Firewood is valuable, and freezing is guaranteed. The climate decides the menu. Animals are central to survival as well. The Yakut horse, a hardy local breed, can withstand brutal winters and dig through snow to find food. In Oymyakon, humans and animals share the same challenge. Endure, adapt, and depend on one another. The road that remembers. Reaching Oymyakon is not easy. The journey often follows the remote Kolyma Highway, known by another name, the Road of Bones. Built during the Soviet era using forced labor, the road cost thousands of lives. Prisoners died from cold, hunger, and exhaustion, and many are believed to be buried beneath the road itself. The extreme cold does not only preserve the permafrost, it seems to preserve memory. Traveling this road is not just a physical journey, but a passage through a landscape that remembers hardship and endurance. Why people stay? This is the question outsiders ask most often. Why live here? The answers are simple and deeply human. Because families are here. Because traditions are here. Because this is home. Residents speak honestly about the hardships, but also with pride. They know how to dress, how to move, how to breathe carefully. When the air feels sharp, they do not fight the cold. They live with it. Warmth in Oymyakon is not measured by temperature alone. It is found in shared meals, open doors, and neighbors who help without being asked. In a place where nature offers no mercy, kindness becomes essential. At the edge of cold. Imagine standing in Oymyakon on a winter morning. Ice fog drifts through the village, turning houses into pale shadows. The air feels solid, almost like glass. Your breath crystallizes the moment it leaves your mouth. And yet, chimney smoke rises. Someone walks past, steady and unhurried. Life continues. In the coldest inhabited place on Earth, the most impressive thing isn't the temperature. It's the human choice to stay.
It's time to study new words in context. 1. Wait out. Definition: to wait until something unpleasant or difficult ends, without trying to stop it or leave. Example: the villagers learned to wait out the long winter by staying indoors and preparing enough food. 2. Infrastructure. Definition: the basic systems and structures a society needs to function, such as roads, water supply, electricity, and buildings. Example: extreme cold makes it difficult to build modern infrastructure in remote Arctic villages. 3. To put this into perspective. Definition: a phrase used to help someone better understand a situation by comparing it to something more familiar or easier to imagine. Example: to put this into perspective. A temperature that closes schools in many countries is considered normal in Oymyakon. 4. Slab. Definition: a thick, flat piece of a solid material that has been cut or shaped from a larger mass. Example: in winter, milk is sold as a frozen slab that families melt slowly for daily use. 5. Dissipate. Definition: to spread out or disappear gradually, often into the air or space around it. Example: the ice fog does not dissipate easily because the air is too cold. 6. Permafrost. Definition: ground that remains permanently frozen for many years, even during summer. Example: houses in Oymyakon must be built carefully because the permafrost can shift when it partially melts.
Comprehension questions. 1. Where is Oymyakon located? Answer: Oymyakon is located in eastern Siberia in Russia's Sakha Republic, also known as Yakutia. 2. Why is Oymyakon considered the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth? Answer: because it has recorded some of the lowest temperatures ever experienced, in a place where people live year-round, including temperatures below -67 degrees Celsius. 3. How does Oymyakon's geography contribute to its extreme cold? Answer: Oymyakon sits in a valley surrounded by mountains that trap heavy cold air, preventing warmer air from entering and allowing cold to build up over time. 4. What is meant by the phrase thermal amplitude in the article? Answer: thermal amplitude refers to the large temperature difference between Oymyakon's extremely cold winters and its surprisingly warm summers. 5. How hot can summer temperatures get in Oymyakon? Answer, summer temperatures can reach as high as 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit. 6. Why do water pipes not work in Oymyakon? Answer, water pipes would freeze solid due to the extreme cold, so residents instead collect ice or snow and melt it indoors. 7. Why do some drivers keep their cars running from October to April? Answer, if engines are turned off, the oil can freeze solid, making the car impossible to restart. 8. What happens to electronics in extreme cold? Answer, smartphone batteries can die within seconds. Plastic casings may crack and even ink in pens can freeze. 9. Why are metal frame glasses dangerous to wear outdoors? Answer, the metal can freeze to a person's skin, causing injury. 10. What unusual form does milk often take in Oymyakon? Answer, milk is often sold as solid frozen slabs, which people melt as needed. 11. What is ice fog and when does it appear? Answer, ice fog is made of tiny ice crystals that hang in the air when temperatures drop below -50 degrees Celsius, making the village look ghostly. 12. What is the whisper of the stars? Answer, it is the faint tinkling sound, made when a person's breath freezes instantly into ice crystals and falls through the air. 13. Why is the Kolyma Highway called the Road of Bones? Answer, it was built during the Soviet era, using forced labor, and many prisoners died during construction and are believed to be buried beneath the road. 14. Why do people continue to live in Oymyakon despite the extreme cold? Answer, because it is their home, where their families, traditions, and communities are rooted. 15. What message does the article emphasize in its conclusion? Answer, that the most remarkable thing about Oymyakon is not the cold itself, but the resilience and determination of the people who choose to live there.